to see if it's
They smile on the podium, promise reform, but the stock trades are booming, a financial storm. Man with her papers, Epstein in the shade, conflicts of interest in the deals they made. Two-faced riches lining their pockets, preach to the people but cash in the lockets. Say one thing then flip the script, public trust sinking while their wallets get big. Margins for my bets before the big shot, Pelosi's gains climb and connect the dots. They legislate loudly but whisper to banks, we're left with the fallout, the cashing in the banks. Trump's hotels ringing cash registers loud, family deals hidden under the crowd. Luther and Bird with pandemic stock, selling off shares before the shock. Bondi's gone as Epstein shade, justice for sale and the deals they made. Conflicts of interest, the anthem we shout, expose the corruption, let's call it out. Step right up, see the inside of show, politicians profit while the rest don't know. It's a circus of greed, a carnival crime, we'll laugh as we sing, but it's truth every time. Two-faced riches, hypocrisy reigns while we juggle the bills, they're buying new chains. Conflicts of interest, the anthem we shout, expose the corruption, let's call it out. Conflict, conflict, conflict of interest. Conflict, 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 conflict of interest. Oh yeah, conflict, conflict of interest.
And welcome to the War Room. I'm glad to have you here. It is November 5th, 2026, so they say. I brought a couple troublemakers with me, as you can see them with me on the screen just below my avatar here. We got Nadine with us tonight and Mickey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ghost. Hi, Hunter.
So they're fresh off their prison release and they're here with us tonight. Well, thank you for joining us.
Uh-huh.
They have stipulations for their release, so we got to keep a close eye on them, make sure they don't do nothing crazy. But glad to have everybody here. Hope everybody's enjoying this Monday, Monday, just another manic Monday, right? The great noticing continues.
Oh, did you want me to sing that song for you?
Yeah, go ahead. That's all. I would love to. I said, let me mute.
No, that's okay.
Do you need the beat? You want me to play the instrumentals in the background for you?
Don't call my bluff.
So we got just another manic Monday. We got Vogue. It was one of Nadine's songs for tonight. Vogue, as you can see on the screen.
It's just not going to happen. This just it doesn't even, especially in 17 hours, it just doesn't happen. I would be calling bullshit if I was one of the regular people. I'd be calling bullshit, definitely.
Models don't even change that many times on the runway.
We don't know what they've been up to, honestly. We really don't.
But Moderna wants to wish everybody a happy New Year's.
Oh, thanks.
Ain't that funny? You get arrested and you're wishing the world happy New Year's and shit. Oh, it's crazy, right? That's crazy stuff. Let's add this to the screen here. All right. It's all CIA operations.
CIA, CAA, CAA is CIA. It's all the actors.
Future proofs the past.
Central casting.
That's right.
CAA. Part of the CIA.
Yeah. So we got a lot of people losing their minds, right? But we're not, because we see it for what it is. right? The Great Noticing, the Great Awakening, whatever you want to call it. Future proves the past, right? We're repeating history. Now we got Saddam Maduro in the hot seat. Saddam Maduro. He almost looks alike, doesn't he? Like Saddam, the lower half. He had a beard and all that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right. So the straight off the rip, let's get into this news right here. I want to thank everybody for being here again. Thank you for your support, and I want to thank the subscribers on Rumble and YouTube as well. I'm going to do a I'm going to put together everybody that's helped us out throughout the years, a ticker across the bottom. I just got to compile all these different names. So we have right here, let's go with RFK Jr., CDC, and a seismic shift. They're going to reduce the number of recommended vaccines for children.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to be careful what you're listening to, because some of them, they're saying that. I just saw that they're saying that you're gonna have to get all the shots, right? So there's also misinformation on that.
Right. So federal health officials announced an unprecedented shift in the childhood vaccine schedule Monday, which is today, reducing the number of shots the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends for children. Officials said that the unilateral decision will bring the U.S. closer to other developed countries, though medical and public experts said that they were worried that the change would undercut Americans' confidence in immunizations and increase the chances of disease outbreaks. So the move is, which is effective immediately, fulfills a longtime goal of the Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. said, and others vaccine skeptics who have questioned the number and benefit the vaccines children receive. So the CDC will now recommend children receive 11. These are just recommendations. The parents can say, "Kiss my ass," right? These are just
That's right.
recommendations. I don't understand, right?
Recommendation.
These are just
That's it.
recommendations. Rather than the current list of 17, putting it in line with the much smaller country of Denmark. So Senator Bill Cassidy, the Republican out of Louisiana, a physician who voted to confirm Kennedy, despite misgivings over Kennedy's vaccine views, laminated the change in social media posts, echoing concerns from public health groups. The vaccine schedule is not a mandate, Cassidy wrote on X. It's a recommendation, giving parents the power. Changing the pediatric vaccine schedule based on no specific or scientific input on safety risk and little transparency will cause unnecessary fear for patients and doctors and will make America sicker, according to that guy. The move comes just weeks after President Trump ordered health officials to compare the childhood vaccine schedule with peers, nations, quote unquote, and weigh recommending fewer shots. After an exclusive review of the evidence, we are aligning the U.S. childhood vaccine schedule with international consensus while strengthening transparency and informed consent. Kennedy said in a statement, this decision protects children, respects families, and rebuilds trust in public health. And according to the materials released by the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, the CDC will no longer routinely recommend every childhood receive vaccines for the rotavirus, influenza, um, meningococcal disease. I hope I said that right. Respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, and hepatitis A and B. The agency will recommend immunizations. Say that again.
Yes.
Yeah. The agency will recommend immunizations for high risk groups and populations only, or through consultation with a physician, when it is not possible for public health authorities to clearly define who will benefit from an immunization. Officials said that they didn't undertake any new assessments of who is considered high risk, and the CDC said it will recommend all children are vaccinated against diseases for which there is international consensus. So, senior HHS officials on a press call said that the change is meant to increase confidence in the vaccine schedule which we don't. Vaccine schedule and address the decreased uptake in routine vaccines such as measles. They also said knowledge gaps about vaccine safety and limited data on the risk of vaccine informed their decisions. So, one top official who declined to speak on record said that the goal is to make it clear that while some vaccines are important, there are other vaccines that are not every that not every child needs. All right. The official said that the change will not require the evidence-based review and input of the Advisory Committee of Immunization Practices and the agency's advisory panel that recommends vaccines. Senior HHS officials insisted that they were not sidelining the committee from future policy decisions, though the panel previously said that it would focus its efforts on the childhood vaccine schedule and vaccines recommended during pregnancy. Kennedy was the co-founder of the anti-vaccine group Children's Health Defense before leaving to run for president and eventually joined the Trump administration. The announcement Monday follows a year of more targeted efforts by Kennedy and his top aides to reshape vaccine policy. For instance, last month, Kennedy's CDC rolled back a decades-long recommendation that all newborns get their first dose of the hepatitis B vaccine within 24 hours of birth. Come on, man.
That's what they were doing.
You coming out of the womb trying to mess with people's
Yeah, right off
like
the bat.
right off the bat.
Like they have hepatitis.
Like they come out like with issues.
They come out pure.
Like, holy shit, man. Shit like that just like
It's crazy.
a move experts said could lead to a resurgence of infections. So they say. So Kennedy also directed CDC to walk back its decades old instance that vaccines do not cause autism, changing a webpage to say health authorities have ignored evidence of a link and studies have not ruled out purported link. So the federal government does not mandate vaccines. That power belongs to states. But the vaccine schedule helps influence state policies and guide which vaccines are covered by insurance. Public health experts decried the administration's sweeping move, accusing officials of acting without any scientific justification, based solely on a desire to shrink the number of recommended childhood vaccines. They said comparisons to other countries are misleading, especially Denmark, because they are vastly different in population, disease burdens, and access to care. Children's health and children's lives are at stake. There's no evidence that skipping or delaying certain vaccines is beneficial for U.S. citizens, said Sean O'Leary, a physician with his head up his ass who leads the American Academy of Pediatrics Infectious Diseases Committee. You can't just copy and paste public health, and that's what they seem to be doing here, O'Leary said. We will be working with our partners across medicine and public health to ensure that parents have credible science-backed vaccine recommendations that they can trust. Tragically, our federal government can no longer be trusted in this role, right? So in practice, experts said that they hope not much will change for parents who want their children to receive all previously recommended vaccines. The best case scenario is it doesn't change anything and physicians will continue to recommend the vaccines that are recommended today or yesterday, said David Margilius, the public health director for the city of Cleveland. Margilius took the issue with the government characterization of the move that will increase trust in vaccines. So they're trying to regain trust in these vaccines, right? But the people need to educate themselves as what's in them. Screw the schedule. What's in these things, right? That you're putting in your kids' arms. You know what I noticed is most of my parents, I mean, most of my friends, they had like, not most, but some of them, they had like nurses as moms, right? They had the weakest immune systems on the planet, right? They were always sick. And I'm sure that's not with all nurses, but it just seems like people in that field created a situation with their kids and they only realize what they've done, right? Weakening their immune systems, especially right out of the womb, getting that hepatitis B for children within 24 hours. So the CDC said it will recommend every single dose of the HPV vaccine rather than the current schedule of 2 doses for younger children or 3 or older teens and adults. The vaccines that will remain recommended include DTaP, diphtheria, diphtheria, I think that's how you pronounce it, tetanitis, and pertussis. What?
Diphtheria.
Diphtheria? What about this one? Pertussis, the whooping cough. HIB, pneumococcal conjunct polio, measles, mumps, and rubella, as well as chickenpox. And, and that is that RFK Jr. CDC and seismic shift reduced the number of recommended vaccines for children. I'll share this article out. So we've been doing a lot of comparisons this morning. I don't know if anybody's been checking out our Rumble uploads. We do 4-hour uploads every morning. Check them out. We cover a lot more in depth background, not on these on Rumble Live or YouTube, but we upload those recordings to Rumble. Please check them out, guys. I really appreciate it, and I want to thank my whole 2,000 subscribers that I have. You guys really mean a lot.
Yes.
And you don't need 2 million viewers to get shit done.
That's right.
Right. So I really appreciate it. It's quality over quantity, and I really appreciate the quantity of the people watching tonight and in the future. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And please support more independent journalists, more independent grassroots journalists. Turn that other shit off. Do what you want, free country. But what we were doing, we've been comparing the 2016 Trump to 2026 Trump, and we see the difference day and night, right?
Yes.
It's and I'm hoping everyone else is seeing that, and they're not just falling for the psychological operation that's taking place just because Trump changed his stance, right? Or this actor playing Trump, right? So I want to play a couple of those comparisons here. Let me pull this up here. So here's one.
Yes, it says that Trump fooled it, but I mean, either he did fool everybody or that's not their first one.
He said it when he did that interview at the Whirlpool rally that this will probably be the last time you see him.
Right, he said he'd
come in a different form.
Right, and this is a different form.
Right, even the facial energy, everything.
Everything, his height.
Yeah, height, energy, body type, all that.
Right.
Right. So what this has done is this has exposed those that were hiding amongst us as MAGA, quote unquote, try to pretend like they wanted the same thing we wanted. And then when Trump flipped in 2026, they're all on board with war all of a sudden and regime change. Make it make sense. When Trump was against all that in the first term.
Yes.
He was against regime change. He was against leading the country by executive order.
No wars.
No new wars. He was regime change, executive orders. What was the other one? That's what you threw me off.
Sorry.
But no
a
new
lot of things.
Regime change, no new wars. Oh, and crypto was a scam.
Yeah.
Right. That was all first term, right?
But he said he wanted
and
to
he
keep
said
the dollar.
He
wanted to strengthen the dollar.
Yeah.
But to me, that would say go back, right?
He didn't want to focus any more on regime change or putting any more money into other countries, nation building. He didn't want to. He wanted to build the infrastructure here. That's the first term Trump. Whoever's listening to this shit, 2024, 2026, is really getting exposed because you didn't stand for anything at all. You didn't stand for anything that most Americans really voted for Trump for. You just go along with whatever the party lines are doing, and that's exposing you and or your Zionist agendas. And you got exposed. So welcome to the Great Awakening. The veil has been lifted. If you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for every little thing that the CIA psychological operations is going to do to you. So we'd like to revisit, and I'd like to point out the 11/1/2019 and 1/19 with the Trump period. But here he is right here.
We are finally putting America first. Our policy of never-ending war, regime change, and nation building is being replaced by the clear-eyed pursuit of American interests. We are finally putting America first.
All right, so that's what most of MAGA heard, right? It's America first, and then when he got in there, it was mega first, right? And it's been that way ever since. And he's going against everything he said he stood for in the beginning, in the first term. Now, is that deception? Is it, you know, of course it's deception. But we're supposed to be aware of that, right?
Yes.
Regardless of what how he changes, we were supposed to remain solid and grounded on truth, a foundation built on rock, not a castle built in sand. So, but what we're getting, and a lot of veterans are calling it out, is Iraq 2.0. And that's why we call it Saddam Moderno, because we're just repeating history. People are seeing it for what it is. And whether you can get mad if you want, but you have to call it out, because it's not what the hell we were sold, right?
No, not at all. And yeah, we should be calling it out. That's the whole point of this, right?
Yeah, that's the whole
We did
point.
such a great thing for them.
Yeah. And how did they get us in all these wars in Iraq? We all remember they used psychological operations via the mainstream media, showing people dancing in the streets.
Yes.
Right. And same thing. Now they're showing these people, 2 or 3 people here dancing in the streets. They're celebrating.
So happy.
They're so happy that someone came in there and overthrew their government.
Which they well, they were, because I mean they didn't have a good leader, but that doesn't always turn into a better leader, as you could.
Well, we don't got good leaders here, but do we need to call in a foreign military to come overthrow these people?
Can you imagine if China or Russia came in here
to
overthrow ours and then occupy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we would be freaking out.
So we're repeating history, but people are seeing it, and I'm grateful.
Yes, so it's all learning, right?
Yeah.
Most people was unaware of what happened over in Afghanistan and Iraq, and you know, so this is how they will learn exactly what happened.
That's it.
The people in Venezuela are celebrating in the streets. We did such a great thing for them. Yeah, you know where else they were celebrating in the streets? In Iraq, when we took out Saddam Hussein, who also was a very bad man, who did very bad things to people. Okay, but you know what happened after we took out Saddam? The country didn't get better. It got 10 times exponentially worse. Fast forward to 2026, and we're sitting here. We just took out Maduro. Now we're going to have to spend more taxpayer dollars. We're going to have more boots on the ground to stabilize the country of Venezuela, to act as the occupying force. We can't even take care of our own country. We can't even fix our own problems. And now we're going to be the occupying force and fix Venezuela and make Venezuela really rich.
We are going to run the country, spend billions of dollars. We'll make the people of Venezuela rich.
How about making America rich? I'm not in support of Maduro. I'm not in support of the fucking Venezuela. Okay, I'm in support of America. And guess what? We've seen this before. This is Iraq 2.0.
Yeah. Let me get my screen.
The people in Venezuela are...
For 1 second. It's Iraq 2.0. Are y'all seeing it, right? A lot of people are seeing it, but some people just aren't. I don't understand. I guess the bell hasn't been lifted for them. And but we're just going to pray for these people. So what that has done is it has created another issue that's going to cause issues within the MAGA base, whatever's left of it. MAGA is an idea, right? It doesn't exist outside of a political event.
Right.
The Constitution says we the people. That exists.
That's what it should be called, not MAGA, nothing else.
Right.
The people.
So what we have here is a Kristi Noem, right? She's going to now allow all those, all those illegals over here that everybody wanted deported from Venezuela. They're not going to be able to claim refugee status because they just did try to do a regime change in their country. So therefore they fled. So we've had at least 7.9 million people have fled Venezuela's humanitarian crisis, according to the United Nations Refugee Agency, the UNHCR. So if you look at the numbers in Florida, you probably have a few 100,000. You have the mayor in Florida that just allowed Netanyahu to come speak at a synagogue down there, the war criminal. So now they're gonna all those hundreds of thousands of people, no deport. They're not gonna get deported.
No.
Right. But they just gave the ICE how many billions of dollars? See the money they just funneled through.
Mm-hmm.
So here's Christy Nome. You can go look it up. I don't feel like listening to her, but if you want to go hear her say it, actually say it, you can go listen to it. But there it is. Go check it out. But like I said, a lot of veterans are waking up. I'm going to play a few of those tonight. If you were in the chat this morning, you're probably going to hear a few repeated things, because we have a different audience at night. All right. So we know Moderno's a CIA asset, Saddam Moderno. And y'all remember Trump saying the CIA was going into Venezuela? Right?
Yes.
Same shit. Here we go.
What part of arrest deep state politicians didn't Trump understand? But yet you have so many mega Republicans celebrating the liberation of Venezuela when Maduro was an asset for the CIA. Do you really believe that Venezuela was the primary suspect that overthrew the 2020 elections? Are you guys that brainwashed and retarded that you can't see that Maduro was put in place and so was Dominion voting systems, so the United States government could blame a foreign nation on overthrowing a presidential election when it was really our CIA who was responsible for the coup? So why are we going after a foreign intelligence agency asset when he was hired by our own government? Make that make sense. And then you have people like Alex Jones, delirious, delusional Alex Jones, posting month-old videos of protest in Venezuela and then getting community noted for trying to make it seem like the Venezuelan people were celebrating the actions of the United States government. When are you going to realize that you're being lied to? But you're still going for it, eating up the slop, being led along like a good little peasant. I mean, look at the way that Maduro was responding to our federal agents when he was walking off of the airplane, telling them Happy New Year. This is not somebody who was just captured in the middle of the night, let alone kidnapped and taken to another country. This is somebody who knows that they're going to get off scotch-free because he was an asset for the intelligence agencies.
Isn't that going to be crazy, right?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, look at what happened with the FBI, Comey, right?
Exactly.
And them, right?
All of them.
Hey guys, I share videos, and I don't play these to attack any movement, left, right, center, anybody with MAGA, any of these. So when people use words and they kind of offend, I apologize for that. It's not me, and I don't intend to offend anybody by playing that, because I think everyone's a good person, no matter who you support or who you voted for. I think we're all good human beings.
I think it's a way that they're trying to, because there's many vets that are doing. I think they're trying to snap them out of the sea, right? Sometimes
it gets frustrating.
Jolt helps, but
it doesn't help at the same time, because people turn you off, and it
makes you feel.
So I want to acknowledge that part of it, the sharing. I try to stay away from people that just try to do that too much, but sometimes they get in here because the message is too powerful to ignore. So what we like to do is here's Franken. This is for reckon. Every U.S. war for the last 70 years has been the same pattern, right? So we got pattern recognition. They call it freedom, quote unquote, but it's always oil in Israel, right? Foreign nation, right? Oil is more than just oil, though.
That's just a little cherry on top of what they really
the minerals.
They want the land.
They want the land and the minerals.
Got everything in it.
Because they got, especially in Venezuela, they got that what they call blue gold. They use that for aerospace and military technologies. and it's found
And it's very
in
rare.
Venezuela. All right, here we go. So the vets are waking up. I'm seeing a lot of them. A lot of vets are fixing to be running for Congress or positions.
Yes, many of them already are.
They're already putting their name in the pot. So pay attention. Stop voting for Ted Cruz and Lady G and Adam Schiff and whoever else the hell you could think of. But there's going to be like how many? I don't know if it's 50 or somewhere between 50 and 100 congressmen are going to be leaving this year. They're not rerun. They're not.
Right.
They're pulling their names from the.
They committed political suicide, actually. My God, their moves and what they were showing us, but who they were, right?
Right.
Venezuela, we're fucking doing it again. My spidey sense is tingling, especially as a GWAT veteran. Did you know that in 2002, the Bush administration and the CIA assisted in a coup to try to overthrow the Venezuelan government? They did this because Hugo Chavez nationalized their oil industry. And instead of investing in U.S. corporations to assist with their oil production, he was investing in social programs to help his own country. Bush, the oil companies, they didn't like that shit. Chavez was only ousted for 2 days. But after those 2 days was over, the U.S. quickly tried to spin it as a populist uprising, which it wasn't. Iraq came along and Venezuela got off the hook at the time. But here we are in 2025, and Trump is making any excuse he can to try to figure out a way to get into Venezuela. You know, Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world, right? More than Saudi Arabia. Poor men dying in rich man's wars. This is an age-old playbook. The U.S. makes up a bullshit reason to go into a country, rape them of their resources, and leave them high and dry. Don't fucking fall for it again.
And we're not falling for the banana and tailpipe over and 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 over, are we? Stopping that shit. And if you don't like,
stop that.
Right?
We want change, right?
Changes. So what do you think is actually happening behind all this? So, hold on, let me come over here. Let's get this pulled up. Excuse me. Yeah, here it is right here. So we're seeing something quite interesting here with Rumsfeld and Donald Trump of today. They sound the same. Right? Remember Donald Rumsfeld, $1.2 trillion missing on September 10th, 2001. Next day was 9/11.
Yes.
I'm not even going to.
You know that Rumsfeld? Well, he's coming back into play.
I'm not even going to play around anymore. Hit me with the works. Iraq, Venezuela, go!
We're giving them full opportunity to do it the easy way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it the hard way.
If we could do things the easy way, that's fine. And if we have to do it the hard way, that's fine too.
Chemical weapons is a threat to the United States.
Fentanyl poses a chemical weapons threat to the United States.
Al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
We can get rid of Saddam. It could really begin to transform the region.
There's an opportunity to transform the entire region.
Bringing freedom and democracy.
Democracy and freedom can serve as a
beacon of hope.
Shock.
Cannot. I'm not even going to play around anymore.
Did y'all get 9/11 vibes in that whole thing?
Definitely.
Pete Hegseth, if you did any research on Pete Hegseth, anybody? Have y'all seen the propaganda he pushed after the 9/11 on Fox and all these?
He was a newscaster.
Yeah, he got all of his talking points from the Pentagon or the CIA or somebody, right? You know, when they have those guests come on, those experts, and they tell you all about the wars. Yeah, look at him. He's spreading the same shit. And people support this fucker. It's crazy, man. But anyways, let me get off. So we're repeating the same shit, using the same lines that they used to get us into the wars in Iraq, and people can't see it.
Right.
So you're okay with it because that's got a Trump. The person has a Trump mask on, and
because we were blinded, we missed all that. Most people, right? We were busy with our lives, so we have a chance to correct that and stand up this time.
So the good thing about this is that 9/11 occurred 2001. If you look at the youth of today, they're 20 years old. This is coming back around so that they missed. right? They weren't alive or they were babies when 9/11 happened, so they didn't get the whole whatever. So if you fast forward to 2026, 25 years later, 20 years later, our youth is now, this is coming full circle. And they're seeing in the future proves the past as well. Now they're seeing, because they were going to, if this didn't happen, your future generations would have never woke up.
No.
All right. Screw anybody that doesn't want to wake up, leave them alone. It's not for them. This is for the children and their children and their children and their children.
That's right.
All right. But we're seeing the same shit, same repeat, same lines being used. And we're supposed to pick up on that. We're not supposed to go along with this just because the person we like said that changed his position, right? All of a sudden, which isn't Trump. That's not Trump. That's a double of some sort, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. So Al Qaeda, you see all the same players, 9/11 vibes, right? Saddam, Maduro, same exact playbook, guys. This is easy. The hardest part is convincing people. The hardest part is waking people up to the fact that they've been fooled, because it's easier to fool somebody than it is to convince them they've been fooled.
That's right.
Even with 1,000 receipts, right? That whole veil thing is real, man. Like, people, they don't see what you see. Some people don't see that the veil has not been lifted. But what's crazy though is we raided another country, but then because of the alleged war criminal or whatever, crimes against humanity, but we invite a known war criminal with an arrest warrant from the ICC to break bread with us at Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
We invite a war criminal down to Miami to speak at a synagogue to tell those people down there to attack people that don't agree with them on U.S. soil.
And the only reason why he hasn't been arrested on U.S. soil is because Bush didn't sign the Roman Treaty, right? To have to be able to arrest him, but we're supposed to hand him over.
Right.
But Trump put sanctions against the ICC judges that were supposed to come over here and get them.
Yeah.
And get some people.
So why Maduro only? Why can't we arrest Netanyahu? Anybody know?
If the United States can conduct an operation in Venezuela to capture Nicolas Maduro, an elected president, and put him on trial in American courts, then why is it impossible to capture Benjamin Netanyahu from Israel and bring him before international court? If the United States can conduct an operation in Venezuela to capture Nicolas Maduro, an elected president, and put him on trial in American courts, then why is it impossible to capture Benjamin Netanyahu from Israel and bring him before international court?
Yeah, why is that? Does anybody know? Is it maybe because he owns the United States?
And what's that thing they threatened to do?
The Samson option?
The Samson option. That's probably why.
Yeah.
And many people are like, when he went over to Poland, he was supposed to, the guy over there was supposed to arrest him, and he didn't. Probably because out of fear, right?
Yeah.
They're cowards. Like, even Trump said that in the first term, that they're all cowards. Like, they're too scared.
Right. So we showed that comparison there. There's more. Here's another one, pre-Trump. This is a good one. Would the world be better off with Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi in power? Trump said 100%.
Gaddafi
We have to rebuild our country, he said. And when he said this, we were only $19 trillion in debt. Look at it now. We're 40. It's doubled.
Gaddafi, if you ever get the Green Book about the plans that Gaddafi had for his people, and you'll see why his people loved him, but others didn't.
So where did this guy go? High energy.
Right.
Where'd this guy go? Let's play this real quick.
The world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power.
100%. Now, as far as Assad is concerned,
what about the human rights abuses?
Let's talk. Well, you don't think they're happening now? They're worse now than they ever were. People are getting their heads chopped off. They're being drowned. Right now, they're far worse than they were ever under Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi. And it all blew up around Hillary Clinton and around Barack Obama. It all blew up. Now, one thing about Assad, not a good guy. I understand that. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's falling to pieces. We have 19 trillion in debt. We have infrastructure that's a disaster. Our roadways, our airports, our schools, everything. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We're pouring trillions of dollars into the Middle East, and we have nothing for it. We have nothing.
The world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power.
Disaster. Our roadways, our airports, 18 trillion in debt. We have infrastructure that's a disaster. Our roadways, our airports, our schools, everything. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We're pouring trillions of dollars into the Middle East, and we have nothing for it. We have nothing.
There you go. All right. Fast forward to today, and you got a whole different person that you're seeing on TV right now, reading scripts and lines like that. This comes straight off his dome, right? He didn't have to read a script. Yeah. If you notice that strike on Maduro, he came out to read that script he had in front of him, that whatever piece of paper that informed everyone of what was taking place. So day and night, right? We see two different people. Two different people, folks. So don't get mad when your buddy, the MAGA supporter, wakes up and goes, wait, this ain't something ain't right here, and then y'all stop being friends because he ain't no longer, on the Trump train. He's calling it out because this isn't what Trump originally said 8 years ago, right?
That's right.
So a lot of people voted, including myself, 2017, for arrest, accountability, to make America great again, to fix this country. No more foreign wars, no more money going overseas, better health care, better employment, better higher wages, better health care, cleaner water, cleaner air, no, the corruption, the unconstitutional policing in America by a bunch of order followers, right? So on and so on. But what we got was something quite opposite, and it started in 2019, 2020 with the pandemic. They were trying to impeach Trump two times, and then they finally couldn't do it, and they said Pelosi said release the vaccines, right?
All right. I don't believe in Republican or Democrat because it's not in the Constitution. It's not in our Declaration of Independence. It's just American, one nation under God. Whatever they do as one. The trick is to give us the illusion that there is a choice, that there is a separation, to keep us fighting over these things. These things right here. Keep us not talking about the fact that we're working harder. 5 generations now. We're working harder than our great-great-great-grandparents and our grandparents did, who had no education, who sent their first generations to college. We were on our way somewhere, and then something happened in the 50s. One of the big things I think that happened is they took the Bible out of school. People don't know, a lot of you young people don't even know the Bible was curriculum. And I'm not religious once again, but the Bible gives us a strong moral code to live by. We were family. We were community. We knew our neighbors. Our children played outside, met new friends. Those new friends wanted to spend the night, and they had to ask their parents, and their parents became friends. Today, mom's in the park on fentanyl, and we think they give us this propaganda about it comes from China, it comes from here. They didn't want this stuff in this country, it wouldn't be here. This is a weapon against us. There is an attack on all of us, red, blue, conservative, liberal, it doesn't matter. The American is under attack. Our dollar is buying a lot less. We're working a lot harder for it. We're losing our constitutional rights, whether you realize it or not, a lot through the technology that we're using today.
Yeah.
These.
That's interesting. Can you go more into that? I'm interested in what, maybe.
By the way, bro, speaking 100% facts. Now, what I've managed to understand with people is everybody just loves to belong to something. I think people love to belong to powerful things. And people are going to always choose to either be Democrat or Republican. It's just one of them things because that's just the nature of human beings. And the people that control the world today understand human beings. Just what it is.
I'm not political, all right? I don't believe in Republican or Democrat because it's not in the
There's a good message for you, right?
Yes.
Come on, America. Wake up.
Yes.
You don't have to own it. You just have to control it. Everybody thinks the goal is to own everything. It's what Babylon taught you. Let me give you a kingdom secret. The real power isn't in ownership. It's in control through trust. Why? Because anything you own in your name is under Babylon's jurisdiction, subject to taxes, forfeiture, seizure, probate. It's tied to fictional entity they created when you were born. That name in all caps, that's the debtor. That property in your name, that's the collateral. That SSN, that's the leash. Once again, I say the borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. You have sold yourselves for nothing. Isaiah 52:3. Let me make this plain as day. You own your car, it can be towed, taxed, taken. You own your home, miss one payment, it can be taken. Own your name, now you're liable for every contract they created with it. But you place it in trust, now you control it privately. No taxes, no public claims, no Babylon strings. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Proverbs 13:22. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. And come out of her, my people. Revelation 18:4. This is how the wealthy move. This is how Christ walked. Always private, always in trust. No license, no contracts, no subjection to Caesar. The kingdom doesn't require ownership, it requires stewardship. So with that in mind, don't just exit Babylon. Build your trust, correct your status, and control the estate. Because if it's not in trust, it's still under their rule. It's not about owning anything. It's about controlling everything in trust, in honor, in kingdom jurisdiction. Own nothing, control everything.
There we go,
You
baby.
don't have to
Hey,
own
that's
it.
Freedom by Paper on TikTok. Go give him a follow.
And that's why
Shout
Martin
out.
said the Bible was a trust in ginger. That's what it was all talking about, right?
Yeah.
Why people just
It's Freedom by Paper. All right, we've been covering this for how long, the sheepdog? With the trust.
Quite a
So I'm
while.
glad we're correcting our status, et cetera, et cetera.
Affidavit of truth, all that.
So here's another clip from Freedom by Paper. Go follow him on TikTok.
don't get it. You speak truth, you show receipts, you back it with scripture, and they still mock you. They still scroll past, still call you crazy. Let me tell you why. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Matthew 11:15. The natural man receiveth not things of the Spirit of God. 1 Corinthians 2:14. Because it is spiritually discerned. They can't hear you, not because you're wrong, but because they're still tuned to the wrong frequency. You're speaking from the kingdom. They're still living under the system. The God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. 2 Corinthians 4:4. This world system is designed to keep them blind, busy, and bound. That's why you can hand them truth on a golden platter, and they still reject it. Not because it's not clear, but because they haven't been awakened yet. We can't let that silence us. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Isaiah 58:1. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. You're not here to convince the goats. You're here to wake the sheep. So if they're not hearing you, that's okay. Speak anyway, because the ones you're sent to will recognize the sound. How shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? Romans 10:14. They're not rejecting you. They just don't have the ears to hear. But your voice, it still matters. You ever wonder why people just don't get it?
Man, I got goosebumps. I ain't had God bumps in a long time listening to somebody.
Yeah.
This guy's his demeanor, his message, his voice. He's bringing the scripture. Man, if we had pastors, and I no disrespect to pastors, but if we had pastors preaching this, it'd be over a long time ago.
They self-appointed themselves.
Yeah.
They weren't called these people with the voice.
Freedom by paper called.
Are the ones
Guarantee it.
To speak.
Good man. Thank you, sir, for sharing that knowledge and wisdom with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Carrying that light, being who you are. Right, in a world of darkness. Really appreciate it. Gotta get my heart on that one. So go check out Freedom by Paper. A lot of great content, man. All right, so we have let me go to where are we at?
You know what? You're a really tough judge because it takes getting goosebumps for you to give somebody a heart.
No, I give everybody. I like everybody's stuff. I just
boy, I throw my hearts all over the place. I'm like,
yeah, I do.
I'm like heart or whatever, and then share. You're like, damn, I'm not. This one's good. We'll give him a little heart.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do all of them, all videos. I do exactly what I would want done to me. I want somebody to click like, share, and subscribe. I do all that, especially if you're an average, if you're grassroots, I got you, man.
Right.
I'm going to magnify your voice, and especially because we have to, because I've been looking at the numbers and the people telling the truth are only getting a few thousand views on all these platforms. And the lies are going viral.
That have receipts and that have they can see, but they're like most of them don't even get over 2,000 views.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I put all these out, and I honestly I get between 25 views and possibly up to 100.
I posted on.
It's like out of 7,000 people, only 25 people to 100 saw this.
Yeah.
That's just so wrong.
Freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach.
That's right.
Yeah, they control the algorithms. They got us all. They got all the truth tellers over in a corner. And then they got the dumbasses that they control and they pay and shit going viral.
And the whole thing is about you have to help people that you don't even know. Like the people that we know, they think we're nuts already. Like they always did. But then the people that we don't know, that's where we have to really get it out to, because people that we know aren't the ones that are going to check out a podcast or a video. Like it's just not in the nature. It's helping somebody you have no idea who they are, and then them sending it out further. And I just wish more people really figured that out.
Yeah. So we're going to magnify because everything's stacked against us: the FM radio, AM radio, TVs, everything. But let's just imagine we're cruising down the street, right? And I'm going to play this as one of Cheating's favorite videos. And the radio disc jockey or the political character on the radio, right?
Right.
Mouthpiece. If he was actually telling you the truth, some people think it would sound like this. It would sound like this.
To every single American that keeps saying, by law, they were required. By law, by law, by law. They were supposed to do this by law. They broke the law. The law doesn't fucking exist. The law doesn't fucking exist in America, everybody. Every single member of the government is a criminal! And we keep expecting the criminals to hold the other criminals accountable. When the fucking dictator in charge can ignore the courts, law doesn't exist. When every system of checks and balances we had fails because nobody's being held accountable, law doesn't exist. Stop screaming about what is legally required. Nobody fucking cares. The only way this stops is if the people listen to the Constitution and overthrow tyranny. Revolution!
All right.
He's a little passionate there,
Very passionate.
but it's true.
Venezuela.
Very passionate. All right. So that's it. That was pretty funny. Excuse the language. Be careful how you deal with Earth Angels. All right, I didn't play that this morning, but this is from One Rex Parker.
Stand that.
Educational purposes.
Yeah, for entertainment and educational purposes only. We're totally full of shit.
When you come in contact with some of these people on this earth, some of these people on this earth are literally angels on earth. They're literally earth angels. And it tells you how to deal with earth angels in Hebrews 13, chapter 13, verse 2. Let's talk about it. And I'm going to go slow. I know about heart, but it says, be not forgetful. You remember when your mama told you or your daddy told you, don't forget that. Don't you forget that. Because most of the time when you're being told not to forget something, it's highly important for you to remember that for your life's journey, right? So he's saying in Hebrews, be not forgetful when you entertain strangers, people that randomly come in your life, the divine connections. Be careful, be not forgetful when you entertain them, because they may be angels unaware. And all the angel is a messenger. So a lot of people out here have been entertaining strangers, aka earth angels, and they've taken advantage of that. And you got to be careful, be mindful, because the people that are earth angels that were already assigned to do something on this earth, if you mess with them, these are the type of things that happen to you. Ask Saul when he was playing with David. Let me show you what happened with Saul. You go to 1 Samuel 16 and 14, it tells you that God put an evil spirit, not the devil. God put an evil spirit on Saul. And he said, because you wanted to go after your own desires instead of me, you want to go run behind David, you want to do all these different things, I'm going to put this evil spirit on you. And it didn't depart from him. Some of y'all are wondering why these people that you gave nothing but goodness to, why they still coming after you? Because they're delusional. God made them delusional. Let me show you. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 11. And for this cause, because they played with you, they played with the chosen, he shall send them a strong delusion. Woo. He shall send them a strong delusion so that they will believe a lie. Don't you understand that the Most High got people believing lies about you so they can go ahead and finish out whatever test, so you can have your testimony? Because be not forgetful. When you entertain strangers, you may entertain angels unaware. And some of y'all are playing with guys chosen on this earth. And he made you delusional for that. He made you lose your mind, literally. And people are watching it unravel. And it's all spiritual. Just wanted to give you all the verses. Be not forgetful. Some people on this earth are here for a way bigger assignment. And if you play with them, that's it. That's the post. Well, a lot of people don't understand that.
Right.
When you come in.
That's One Rex, REXX Parker.
Yeah, One Rex Parker right here.
Follow him. He's got good messages.
Check it out. There he is right there. Right. All right, so this fed up American, just like the rest of us, right, ain't mincing any words. He's dealing with the corruption, the lies, and the bullshit that's wrecked our country. Change is coming hard. Real talk that hits the soul. Y'all tell me if y'all can relate to this man in the comments section, guys.
Politicians in Washington, D.C.
Go give him a follow at fuck.tiktok662. That is at fuck.tiktok662.
And throughout the state capitals in this country, I don't think you realize what might be coming for you. We've been watching for decades as you cheat and steal your way through your political careers, and you become millionaires with multiple homes, vote yourself raises, insider trade, and we've sat back. We've watched you blatantly commit crimes that any of us would have gone to jail for the rest of our lives, and yet you walk away because you're politicians. There never seems to be any accountability for you. We see you commit felonies, treason, and nothing ever happens. Us taxpayers are told they're too big to fail, or if we arrest everyone involved, it'll collapse economies. Now let's look at how the US government treats its taxpayers. While you suits in DC are committing felonies and treason and laugh in our faces, try building a shed on your property without a permit. Try fishing someplace for a few hours and see how long it takes for a fish and game officer to come check your license. What you politicians don't understand is over the years you have created more and more and more and more laws and rules and permits and fees and licensing for us to follow. But you don't. You see, the hardworking, law-abiding American citizen whose family has been here for centuries and built this country, we're sick of this shit. You see, we've been watching for decades as the people in DC and the state capitals continue to legislate laws. And what we've seen, the hardworking American person who pays their taxes and doesn't break the law, is legislation that helps everyone else but us. Billions and trillions to other countries, millions and billions to NGOs, endless amounts of money for welfare and SNAP. Billions and billions and billions of dollars spent to house illegal aliens. Fining Americans for not getting health care and then giving it to illegals for free. You see, you've been fucking us for a long time, and the veil has been lifted. The curtain is pulling back, and us hardworking, law-abiding citizens are seeing how corrupt everything is and how corrupt the politicians are. To my original point and the warning to the politicians, this by no means is a threat. I'm just telling you what I see coming from the temperature of the people in this country. They're angry and mad. You see, the people that are really, really pissed right now are the people who have been working nonstop, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. We aren't the ones out protesting. We aren't the ones burning cities down every time something happens. That's not us. We've been at work through COVID, through the protests, the summer of love. We'd get up every morning and go to work. What you politicians don't realize is there's millions and millions and millions of us, and it's not just Republicans, it's Democrats and Republicans, and we're watching what's going on. I foresee a big event happening in this country where a lot of Americans end up dying, unfortunately, or our dollar collapses and people start starving. When that happens and the working class says we've had enough and we're going to do something, we're not going to go burn cities down. We're not going to scream and yell. The hardworking people of this country are going to come after the politicians. The politicians have created this mess. They have printed so much money that our dollar is worth nothing. Our kids can't afford housing. They can't afford rent. Everything that is going wrong in this country is due to the politicians. And we know that. because the curtain has been pulled back. If you politicians don't start arresting people, high up people that will collapse economies, if you don't start doing that, the working people of this country are going to have to do it. And it's not going to work out well for you. I assure you of that. There will be no hiding from us because there will be millions and millions of us looking for you, politicians. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Citizen trials, maybe? We're not going to use the corrupt judges that you guys have installed. But maybe we have hardworking taxpayers sit on a jury. Hardworking taxpayers sit as judges. But we're going to come after you. We're going to try you and convict you and give you the appropriate punishment for what you've been doing. Because we're sick and tired of getting screwed over by the politicians in this country.
Right. So when people talk about the plan, oh, what plan? There is no plan. Yeah, there is. You're seeing it. You're seeing it take place right here, right now.
It's the people. It was always us.
Mm-hmm.
We the people. That's why they wrote it that way.
Yeah. So I see a lot of podcasters out there with, semi-big platforms, and they're like freaking out, and they don't see it for what it is, and they think they're doomed, and yada yada. They're not seeing the bigger picture here, right? That we've been witnessing over the last few years. Yeah. So there is a plan. It isn't written out.
No.
But you're seeing it take place.
And people are at their precipice, right?
Yeah,
That's when we find the world to change.
Yeah. That's damn right. Okay, so that was one. We got Lindsey Graham here. Lindsey Graham stands next to Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor, and calls for a complete overhaul of Cuba. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, Epstein's neighbor hanging out right behind Lady G right here, sitting over here. Look at him. Little handler. Right.
He did something people talked about doing.
So what they do is they stroke his ego, and they thank him for his leadership for doing all the stupid shit that they want done, not what we want done. Lady G doesn't give a shit about you or me. None of them do. They only care about their own benefits.
That's what we're being shown.
So should Trump listen to Lindsey Graham's dream and invade Cuba next?
No.
And Iran and every other country on the planet? All right. Or should we focus on America, on the people of this country? I'm not going to play all that.
Yeah, please don't.
My family thinks I'm crazy and making everything up. I think everything I have said is the only thing that actually makes sense. At some point, you just don't care anymore. So right now I'm in a dead zone, and that is an Air Force dead zone, and it's done through their systems. I'm assuming it's through the Huawei technologies and cell towers. A dead zone is a way that they essentially own your phone and they own everything connected to you. And if you have one of their implants, which is connected to Neuralink, then that's essentially how they control your life. It's a trafficking dead zone. So when they say, oh, I'm in a dead zone, and they did all those commercials, that's what it actually meant. It means you're going to die.
Yeah, we don't have the Neuralink. I don't need a Neuralink.
Most of those people in the higher places do.
Right.
But Sabrina Wallace said they're augmented.
Yeah.
Right? So kind of how to do what they told them to do, right?
So we have Major retired Richard Ojeda. He fought in Iraq, Afghanistan. He buried a few brothers of his because of the lies about weapons of mass destruction. With Netanyahu, now watch Trump bomb Venezuela. No Congress, no plan, just oil, power, and greed. I've seen this movie before. No more forever wars. Right? He's saying call Congress and demand accountability. All right. So we're gonna play this real Clip right here. Educational.
Richard Ojeda here, and I need you to stay with me. You need to hear this. I served 24 years in the United States Army, and I can tell you right now that the attack on Venezuela this morning feels really familiar as a combat veteran that served in Iraq and Afghanistan. On my back, I carry the names of brothers who never made it home from war because our government told us that there was weapons of mass destruction that did not actually exist. They sent America's sons and daughters into a war zone so they could topple a dictator that was supposed to have those weapons of mass destruction. This morning, the Trump administration bombed the capital of Venezuela with no congressional approval, violating war powers to give away Venezuelan oil to Exxon under the guise of liberation. And I know what comes next because I've seen it. I've seen what happens when politicians light the fuse and don't have a plan for the chaos that follows because I lived that reality when I led troops into battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Trump administration says this is about drugs. Give me a damn break. This is the same president who just pardoned one of the largest drug traffickers in the entire world less than a month ago. And just today, he openly stated, we're going to run Venezuela, occupying a sovereign nation until a new government is in place. The truth is, this attack is about power. It's about oil. It's about a regime change. I know what it's like to look an 18-year-old in the eyes who's afraid to die on a battlefield. Donald Trump and his administration don't care about our sons and daughters that will lace up their boots and head off to war in the name of patriotism and ultimately die because of corruption and greed. They don't know the weight that it carries when you have to pick up a phone and tell a mother that her son is never coming home. I do. My wife Kelly does. Thousands of service members who have draped the flag and carried their brother's casket to its final resting place does. And we will not sit silent. They say this is the end of the escalation. I call bullshit because I've seen this con job before. They beat the war drums. They promise it'll be quick, and then they feed you lies. The next thing you know, you're in a forever war that costs millions of lives for the next 20 years. I don't want another forever war. I don't want more Gold Star families. I don't want America's sons and daughters dying to satisfy the greed of corrupt politicians and their donors that never pay the price. So here's what I need you to do. Comment no more forever wars below in the comments, and then get on the phone and call your Congress members. Demand accountability. Demand an end to the illegal use of military force. Demand that our representatives stand up to the tyrannical war criminals in Washington before we end up in another war that costs thousands of American lives. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.
There you go, right? He's running for Congress. All right, take note. You know. Keep us in these forever wars. Big money going to all these operations. We lose our kids. The people in the other countries lose their kids, and it's never the same. Right? So we keep making the same damn decisions over and over and expecting a different result. Oh, that's the error. All right, so I got y'all know who this next guest is coming up. It's Shipwreck, guys. Y'all go give her a follow on X Shipwreck Show. At Shipwreck Show.
She's also on TikTok.
Oh, she on TikTok too?
Yes. Yeah, I share all her stuff.
Is she?
Yeah, because I like her presentation. She's raw, like raw, authentic.
Authentic.
Listen, I know some of you are upset because the 5D chess and the election fraud, and he posted this, and Venezuela, and that's the hub of the election fraud, and the CIA was involved, and that's why we took it, so that we could fix the election. He told me that I needed to study Trump better so that I could fully incorporate and understand what's going on. I followed the Q movement from 2017 through the first half of Biden's term, really to 2021. Never hear me knock the movement, because I do believe that it is because of that movement, child and human trafficking took such a forefront to the light of everything that's going on. Nothing got soccer moms out of their house and onto the streets faster than this Q movement. As far as the rest of it, as far as Trump being the savior, as far as nobody is coming to save us. There's no sitting back and eating your popcorn and letting I get this so often still. Just let the exposure happen. They're exposing them. Same comments I used to get during Dr. Anthony Fauci when it came to the Birx lady, the Bidens, Joe Biden and his son. And I got on board with it. Mike Pompeo, right? I was the biggest Mike Pompeo fan. I got on board with it. I was like, all right, we'll let him expose us. We'll win. And then you'll see it all. We'll see it. They'll be held accountable. And nobody was. And then I get the argument, well, it's only been a year. So it's only been a year. Taking down the deep state takes a lot longer than you want it to. Think, Shirley, you're 67 years old. How long have you been spouting this? I really believed in my core, with my full chest, that if there is a point to anything that's going on right now, that it is the dismantling of the two-party system, period. No more Republicans, no more Democrat. And I believe that if you believe that your part in this is to get on board with this. Trump was a Democrat, then he went independent, and then he went Republican, and then he ran for president. There's some variation of that. But now he posts things like, Republicans are the best. Lindsey Graham, make Iran great again. Trump was never, ever going to unite us as a country, as a species, as a whole. He was never going to unite us. It's not him. It can't be. There are people, and it's too large of a percentage of amount of people that hate him with such a passion that they can't even verbally describe it. They don't even know why. They just do. And that number is too great. But it isn't Trump. And if you're in my comments and you're talking about how he's the Messiah, great about that. I asked. He's not. You're wrong. You're wrong. In fact, I got laughed at when I asked. So you're wrong. If you're not taking the time, if you are a normal, everyday citizen, you are not taking the time to come out and speak out about all the things that are happening right now that happened under the Joe Biden administration that we were all so mad about, okay? Ukraine, yeah, Russia, why are we don't want American, we don't want foreign wars, we don't want foreign influence. If we're not holding the same energy, then you're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution when you're telling me to calm down and to just eat my popcorn and to let these expose themselves. I don't need to have any more people exposed. Just hold them accountable and stop me from having to pay tax anymore. I don't want to pay tax anymore. I went from a full-on tax revolt last week, every damn buddy talking about a tax revolt last week, to this week, government done good. Big bombs got bad guy. This message isn't going to resonate with all of you, and I understand that. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'll keep fucking saying it. I'm not here for followers. I'm not here for views. I'm not here for impressions. I'm not here for likes. I'm not here for share. I'm here because I have an opinion, and sometimes I want to talk about that opinion, and sometimes I like to cook. Don't no brand new car. There's no private jet. There's no deep scoop on big, massive thing. I mean, when you can bring Laura Loomer and Nick Fuentes together, I don't even know. I don't even know. Something is wrong. And if you are counting on some kind of bring Laura Loomer.
See how they both
there's something wrong
on the same team all of a sudden? USA, USA. Yeah. All this patriotism when you start bombing innocent people. Are you crazy? You put an AR and a damn bazooka in Jesus' hand and
right. You never said.
All right, so
and Nick Fuentes together. I don't even know. I don't even know. Something is wrong. And if you are counting on some kind of Messiah that's going to save us, and you're just going to sit back and let all this continue happening, okay? Because we did COVID, and then we had the weird transgender thing where a bunch of kids came out and cut a bunch of body parts off, just sat back and ate popcorn, right? If you're not actively trying to at least call it out, at the very least, that's the least we can do. Okay, then you're a part of the problem, and you need to get out of my comment. Nobody is coming to save us. This was never about being saved. This was about learning and trying how to save ourselves. This was about distancing from the mainstream media. This was about waking up to the child and human trafficking and the gross stuff that was happening out in Hollywood. But now this is recognizing that there is a foreign entity that has control of 99.9% of our Congress, which means they have control over 99.9% of our legislation, 99.9% of our laws, 99.9% of our lives. Oboy's been to the White House more times this year than he's ever been. And then he was the first one to congratulate Joe Biden. Nobody is coming to save us. Trump is not here to save you. He is here to show you so that you can start speaking out against it as well. Fuck.
That's it.
That's exactly right.
Right? So the frustration, people are getting frustrated.
And the Q was your cue, right?
CUE.
In the greatest show on earth, right? Go watch Tropical Thunder. And then you're supposed to play your role.
So we have
volunteered to do.
Yeah, no, you're good. I apologize. So you have Netanyahu trying to silence voices like hers, like mine, like yours, on these podcasts. We can know that he's wanting a nationwide ban on anyone calling out the fact that our country is united. Our country is occupied. The United States isn't a country; it is a corporation, of business owned by AIPAC. All right. And they don't want you to say that. They don't want us to say that. They don't want anybody to say that because they got to maintain control. But they're not getting the youth. The youth is going to call it out. They're going to do the research. They're going to do the videos.
They already are.
So we have the Zionist billionaires behind both Trump and Netanyahu's rise to power. Who are the Adelsons? All right. So this is Guy Christian on YouTube.
Netanyahu and Donald Trump's rise.
Yeah, this is entertainment purposes only, and we're going to pause briefly and have discussions.
Why are the same Zionist billionaires behind both Netanyahu and Donald Trump's rise to power? How does our president go from calling out these puppets to becoming their biggest one? Who are Miriam and Sheldon Adelson, and what have they been working towards for the last 30 years in the United States and in Israel? This is a rundown of how the Adelsons manipulated their money and power as part of a 30-year strategy to realize their Zionist dream of a wholly cleansed Palestine. Born in mandatory Palestine, Miriam was just 3 years old when Zionists launched the Nakba. She was a Nepo baby. She moved onto stolen Palestinian land in 1950, very early on in her childhood, in the formerly bustling port city of Haifa, which had just been depopulated by Zionist terrorists. Over 95% of the Palestinian residents had fled or been killed. That's over 60,000 from that city alone. Miriam moves to New York City in 1986, where she meets her late husband, billionaire Sheldon Adelson, who was at one point the Republican Party's largest owner. Sheldon was a Jewish man, a Zionist, an aggressive capitalist. He's from Boston, but it wasn't really until he marries Miriam in the early 90s where he begins wielding his wealth and influence to serve the state of Israel. Miriam is credited for influencing this in Sheldon after they meet. The Adelsons take their money and they give it to Netanyahu in his first bid for Prime Minister of Israel in 1996, during a very controversial election where one of Netanyahu's far-right Zionist supporters assassinates Yitzhak Rabin and Netanyahu squeezes out a win. For the first time ever, the Adelsons have a golden ticket straight to the core of the project they love so dearly.
Hold on, wait.
The Zionist ethno.
Was that an assassination to put in another president? And Netanyahu was involved? Wow. You seen that?
Yeah.
In a very controversial election where one of Netanyahu's far-right Zionist supporters assassinates Yitzhak Rabin.
Wow. So assassinations, huh? They know how to do that, don't they? Where have we seen this before? Oh, 11/22/1963.
And Netanyahu squeezes out a win. For the first time ever, the Adelsons have a golden ticket straight to the core of the project they love so dearly, the Zionist ethno-state of Israel. The reason Netanyahu and the Adelsons aligned here is because they were both against peace processes with the Palestinians. The Adelsons don't even think Palestinians exist. They think they were just made up as a way to destroy Israelis. But anyways, there's a problem. Just 3 years into this, 1999, the Israeli public wants to restart the peace process after electing Netanyahu, a guy who's against all that. And so they vote him out of power. The Adelsons continue on their path buying political power, this time coming to the United States and founding the Adelson Family Foundation, which has a stated purpose of, quote, to strengthen the state of Israel and the Jewish people. Also, in the same year, 2007, they found and launched Israel's now most widely read and successful daily newspaper, Israel Hayom, a distinctly pro-Netanyahu newspaper. It was their newspaper that materially helped Netanyahu win power again as Prime Minister of Israel since he lost it in 1999. There's a study titled How the Ultra-Rich Use Media Ownership as Political Investment, which I read, and it's on the Adelson newspaper and how it affected these upcoming elections. And what they found is that exposure to their newspaper, which quickly became the most read in Israel, that a 1 standard deviation increase in viewership translated directly to 4 Knesset seats for the Netanyahu-led Likud coalition in Israel. It was actually this situation, this effect with this newspaper, that caused the media watchdog group Freedom House to de-rank Israel's press freedom ranking to partly free in 2016. And I just wanted to add this as a side note, but media ownership as political investment is very real. We just saw it with Elon Musk buying X, turning it into a political propaganda slot machine for Americans to support Trump. Since as early as the 90s, the Adelsons have been paying members of our Congress to go on all expenses paid trips to Israel. And they gave the Bushes, $250,000, which earned them a personal audience with the US president. But it wasn't until 2016 where they finally had their moment. The Adelsons had just spent the last 8 years pouring money against Obama for his advancement of the Iran nuclear deal. And it was in the run-up to the 2016 election cycle where they decided, hey, we're going to back Marco Rubio, a Zionist war hawk that looked pretty good in the running for the Republican nomination. That's when we see Trump in late 2015 tweeting out, attacking Marco Rubio, attacking Sheldon Adelson specifically for puppeteering this politician, calling Marco a perfect puppet for the Adelson family.
All right, so we see why Rubio's put on the world stage, right? And why he's doing everything for Israel, and the regime changes front and center, right? So here, the first Trump, October 13th, 2015, 6:46 a.m. Sheldon Adelson is looking to give big dollars to Rubio because he feels he can mold him into this perfect little puppet. I agree. But Miriam Adelson gave what, Trump $250 million. Things changed, right?
Yes.
Something changed along the way.
But when spring 2016 rolled around and Trump looked like he was about to secure the nomination, and eventually did, they changed their sweet old tune. They donated $25 million to his 2016 campaign, becoming the largest donor for not only his 2016 campaign, but his presidential inauguration and his defense fund against the Russian interference investigation. Sheldon summed himself up in just one sentence in 2017. Remember this, quote, "I'm a one-issue person. That issue is Israel." With the US president now in their pockets, the Adelsons get Israel and Netanyahu everything they've dreamed of. He moves the US embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. You see the GOP start changing on their policy for a two-state solution or to stop the illegal Zionist land theft of Palestinian land in the West Bank. You see Trump kill the Iran deal that the Adelsons and other Zionists had worked so hard to kill for the last 8 years. So it's working out so far for the Adelsons, realizing their dream of a wholly cleansed Palestine, no Palestinians within its borders. So they proceeded to fund Trump another $75 million in 2020. Of course, he didn't win. I wanted to include this quote that The Intercept published in 2021. They said, "More than anyone else, Adelson can claim credit for transforming the Republicans into a party devoted to bolstering Israel's military occupation and its expansion of West Bank settlements. And the Israel right, also bankrolled by Adelson, saw many of its political aspirations realized under Donald Trump's presidency." Sheldon kicks the can in 2021, and Miriam takes on his mantle, his role buying political power in two countries to tie us together for their twisted, evil goals. And Miriam steps it up a notch further, giving Trump a whopping $250 million in 2024, comparable to an Elon Musk type role. And that's where she sits. She believes, and she said this, Trump will support Israel ethnically cleansing every remaining Palestinian in the occupied West Bank territories. There are hundreds of thousands of Palestinians there. And then support Israel officially annexing the West Bank territories. The West Bank has been occupied illegally for over 57 years. And it's from this moment in time where Adelson has a prominent role in our government as an oligarch, as a Zionist oligarch who bought her way to the top, where she appeared at Trump's White House Hanukkah party. And we get this spectacular clip where Trump introduces her. Jokes about how he gave her so much money, $250 million, plus whatever he's been given in the past. It's nearing $500 million. And she gets up on the stage and tells Trump that if he runs a third term, she'll give him another $250 million. And she's like, I'll send it. I'll give it to you. Miriam knows two things. The first is that this is probably the best chance Israel has to annex the West Bank under Trump's presidency before shit hits the fan and accountability and justice begins happening and people actually remember the genocide we all witnessed. And two, the Republicans are not winning the House in the midterms. So for Trump to do what he's going to do, he has to do it soon. And she's really pushing the gas. The entire personality of the Adelsons is Zionism. All they've done since marrying each other is use their wealth to build a Zionist ethno-state in Palestine. Still is actively funding a Zionist terrorist group in Israel of quote-unquote volunteers who bring heavy weaponry into the occupied West Bank, into Palestinian communities, kill, and then steal their land. The Adelsons have been funding Netanyahu for over 30 years and Trump for almost 10. Miriam is actively supporting initiatives to oust the remaining critics of Israel holding power in our Congress. And it seems like very soon Israel is getting ready to make the full push to steal the remaining Palestinian land in the West Bank territories. This narrative reminds us of a few things. First, Donald Trump's not a president for a single American. He's only president for those who pay him money. And that's only rich people. That's the ultra wealthy. That's Zionists like the Adelson family. Number two, Zionism does this all the time in America. This is just one. I've made like a dozen videos on Zionist billionaires, whether it be like Larry Ellison buying TikTok, trying to buy all these media companies. Oh, wait, what does that remind me of? Exactly what we just talked about. How media ownership is a form of political investment. I'm running out of time, and all I want to say is free Palestine, down with Israel, down with Zionism, down with our corrupt and broken political system. And you can follow me and support my work with the link in my bio to my Substack. Thank you.
Thank you. There you go.
Hey, folks, I don't know if y'all caught that speech. I think it was yesterday.
All right. I don't know what is roll right into that one. Where is this? How did that happen?
Must have looked on YouTube.
Yeah. So there you go. Break down the Adelsons, right?
What was his channel?
Guy Christian.
Guy Christian.
Right.
So he broke it down really well.
See the
Good
bigger picture.
educational piece.
Because Netanyahu and them, they don't want a two-state solution. They want to wipe out everybody in Israel. They want to take the Palestinians and relocate them
To Somalia.
to allegedly to Somaliland. Right, get about 2 million Palestinians allegedly, so they can continue their juice world order. Right, new world order. Bullshit. All right. So people are getting pissed off, and they're wanting to know what is going on, right?
And that's easy.
And that's good. All right, you want to play this one right here. So he says right here, he says, am I being punked right now? Are we being punked? We just found the smartest MAGA, and he's waking up. All right.
Give
So give him a couple more weeks, and he'll be full woke.
It's
Right.
awesome to see them
Yeah, it is awesome to see people freaking
waking up.
wakey,
Really waking up.
wakey.
Y'all been waking up in stages.
You've
right?
been avoiding this. You've been avoiding it.
But there's each stage is a aha moment. Like, wow,
Yep.
that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got people
Yep.
on the streets here that are fucking Americans. We got people that served our military that people have forgotten about. We got an infrastructure that looks like fucking third world compared to the East.
Now you hear what he said about the infrastructure right here, just like what Trump was saying earlier in 2019, 2018, 2017. Right? The infrastructure.
We got an infrastructure that looks like fucking third world compared to the East, okay? They got 400-mile-an-hour fucking trains in Japan, bro. What do we got? We got fucking shit track Amtrak.
Metro.
Yeah, with criminals on them. Yeah, right. Like, bro, I'm fucking tired of being lied to, dude. And I don't give a shit. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm over it. And I'm tired of being shamed because you criticize Israel. Fuck you guys. I'm fucking over it.
Fuck you.
I'm fucking over it, dude. I'm America fucking first. I'm America fucking only. And that's where the fuck I stand. And that's where I've always stood. And, you know, I've tried to give the benefit of the doubt because I do know a lot of people that are really tight with that man. And I trust those people. But like, bro, I don't see it. And until I see it from now on, I'm not with it. Okay? I'm from the fucking show me state. Show me, motherfucker. Don't come on the TV and tell me that you're going to do this and that and this anymore. None of that shit matters anymore. What are you doing? We're getting the cans getting kicked down the road over and over again. We're getting treated like we're a bunch of dumbasses. We pay half our money in fucking tax and they can't even tell us the truth because we can't handle the truth. Fuck you. Fuck you.
You can't handle the truth. You want the truth?
So you're going to hear probably a lot more of people as they're coming out of their, like Cheating said, United States of amnesia.
Oh, yeah.
Mike used to say. But yeah, I mean, it's true. But, you know, customers are also a form of expression, and they rightfully should express themselves in any way, form they can. That's what this is all about.
But hey, you know, they got time to film movies while we're all Hey, they took money from Jeff Bezos to do this, right? Yes. How much money they...
Right.
So the new film, Melania, is coming out.
And remember when Michelle Obama did hers with Netflix and everyone had an uproar?
Uh-huh. Now MAGA didn't like the Michelle Obama Netflix, but now Melania is doing it. Now let's see if the hypocrites call it out. Are you consistently going to call it out, or are you okay with it as long as it's your guy doing it?
That's right.
Or your group, or your whatever the hell is going on here. So while we're sitting here watching the shit show, they're having directors and cameras and shit following them around like a real live movie. Some of people
too. Got cameras following us around everywhere too.
Yeah, so this is on Amazon, a Mason, and she comes out with the black and white dress on, the Masonic pillars, twin pillars, right?
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
You can come in. Good morning. Our proudest legacy will be that of peacemaker.
Peacemaker and defiant. Beautiful. Together with like-minded leaders, we have a voice. Is it safe?
It is safe.
Everyone wants to know. So here it is. Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
Yay! Right.
I'll see it on the news. That's funny.
All right. Did you watch the podcast last night, honey? All right.
Hopefully, can make it make sense.
So the digital currency.
Right. And
Is that what this? Yeah. Oh, this is Smoke 340.
Okay.
SMOK
TikTok?
340. Yeah, Smoke 3. SMOK 3. Right.
Hopefully, can make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Everybody's concerned with digital currency, Bitcoin, XRP, whatever other ones are out there, gold, silver, fucking. those would be more reasonable to acquire, but you understand what times we're in right now. We are on the latter days of the last days. It's not the last days, like we're going to die tomorrow. We have probably 7 to 10 years left if Agenda 2030 doesn't happen. I'm not too hopeful for the midterms elections, to be honest with you, but I've been really trying to get people to understand what times we are in. There is some scripture out there that says you will be forced to take the mark in order to buy or sell. Hello? You will be forced to take a chip in your right hand or forehead, according to the scripture, in order to buy or sell. So please, someone educate me on why someone is investing in digital currency that's on a computer. I got a buddy of mine, and I'm trying to explain the same shit to him. He's got 2,000 shares in XRP right now. Last I knew, he probably has more. He's got 2,000 shares in XRP, and he's telling me, hey, brother, when this shit hits the switch, we're going to be millionaires, man. We're not going to have to worry about nothing. And then I explained to him, you're aware of the mark, right? You cannot buy or sell. So what's going to happen is they're going to get all these people on the hopium of becoming millionaires overnight when XRP goes to the moon. And then the mark is going to come out, and you're going to be forced to take that to even acquire your millions, if not billions of dollars of ones and zeros on a computer that they have control of. Make it make sense. I have zero digital currency. I have zero gold, zero silver. You know what I do have? A bunch of this shit. Because your fucking little XRP and ones and zeros and gold and silver isn't stopping this. And I'm not as if I'm going to be a fucking a werewolf prepper. No. There's people out here that are prepping just to take other people's shit. I'm not one of them. But I'm just trying to get people to understand, if the world is doing it, do the opposite. That's the bottom line message. Hopefully can make it make sense. Everybody's concerned with digital currency, Bitcoin, XRP, whatever other which ones are out there, gold, silver, fucking.
We already repeat.
Those would be more reasonable to acquire, but
yeah, okay.
So I posted. We had during our chat this morning. We kind of went over. Someone in the chat mentioned what he was talking to someone that was talking about NASA getting something from the moon, right? For this awesome stuff they're going to do with it, and it was called helium-3, right? So I pulled up some articles that said into a power plant, right? So when you talk about XRP going to the moon, and in the articles it's talking about taking the isotopes from the moon, right? And they want to use the moon as a huge power plant, right? So they're going to use lunar resources, full export, turning the moon into fuel. If you go back and watch the Hopi Prophecy, he talks about that they're going to try to take some stuff from the moon, and that's going to be a big issue, right? The Hopis went to the UN, United Nations building there here in America, in New York, and warned them about that.
Yeah. So here's the theater that Netanyahu put on for everybody. He treats Arabs like pure filth, yet they still bend down to him blindly. Right? See him putting on his damn stuff before he grabs the microphone from him. He's got him in a mask. Right? Going along with the COVID narrative. This was 4 years ago. Why is he at an airport? Why are they doing this at an airport?
What a dick move.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't grab it until I put my poisons on my hands. It goes straight
Oh,
to
wow.
keeps me safe from germs. I don't want to get COVID. Big pussy. That dude's a big pussy. Such a fucking. He wants.
Wow.
What a pussy. Grown ass man putting damn sanitizer on his hands like he's scared of a cold. Get the hell out of here. Send it to me.
Something off.
Okay. Which one is it?
Middle Nation.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Why did we attack Venezuela and kidnap the president? I don't know. Something about drugs, maybe. Airstrikes in Nigeria because something protecting Christians, whatever. Probably something like this. I don't know. I can't be bothered. They're not even trying to sound serious now. So that means that they're playing to an audience that is so pathetically delusional and so pathetically and pathologically sycophantic that for them, America can do no wrong in their eyes. For them, America itself is the highest principle. And America does not have to even appear, doesn't even have to pretend to adhere to any principles itself.
The USA likes to see itself as Superman, the heroic savior, protecting the world and standing for justice. But to much of the rest of the world, it looks more like Homelander, powerful, self-righteous, and dangerous when unchecked.
So now Uncle Sam himself can't be bothered. He doesn't have the skills. Why did we attack Venezuela and kidnap the president? I don't know. Something.
I don't know. Drugs or protecting Christians. I don't know. We got to blow people off the map, y'all, in the name of dominance, world power, control, greed.
Because they were losing power. They're trying to remain dominant using the digital, first of all, and stay in power. That's why the other countries formed BRICS, so that we wouldn't be all powerful and doing all this stuff to other countries. Continue.
Yeah. So Defiance 13 has this to say about Venezuela.
Removing a dictator is not what anyone is upset about. And that needs to be said because a large share of the reaction to Venezuela has been intentionally flattened into a dishonest binary. Nicolas Maduro is not a misunderstood figure. He is not some noble anti-imperialist hero that was crushed by Western paranoia. He presided over a state hollowed out by corruption, repression, and economic collapse. And you don't have to defend him, excuse him, or mourn his fall to ask serious questions about how the United States acted, what legal justifications were constructed after the fact, and what power arrangements are being assembled in his absence. And reducing criticism of U.S. actions to support for Maduro is not analysis. It's a rhetorical escape hatch. It avoids engaging with how power actually works, because opposition to a method is not allegiance to a man. And in global politics, the how matters as much as the who, because methods set precedent. Precedent outlives the villains. So the real question is not whether Maduro deserved to fall. The real question is what is being built in the vacuum his removal creates. Because this does not look like liberation. It looks like exit positioning. And exit positioning is what governments do when they believe their governing window is closing. It's what power looks like when legitimacy is no longer the objective and time becomes the enemy. It is the shift from shaping the future to insulating oneself against it. When leaders stop thinking about institutions they'll inhabit and start thinking about arrangements that will survive them, their priorities change. And governing gives way to locking in narratives, contracts, and leverage that will outlast elections, congressional backlash, and historical judgment. So this isn't some kind of speculative psychology. Political economy has a name for it. It's called terminal discounting. As an actor's perceived time horizon collapses, the value they assign to future consequences collapse with it. Long-term legal risk, reputational damage, and institutional decay get heavily discounted. Gains in the short term loom larger. Risk tolerance spikes, and behavior that would appear reckless under a long horizon becomes very rational under a short one. Mancur Olson captured this decades ago with his distinction between stationary and roving bandits. A stationary bandit expects to remain in place, so they invest in public goods and institutional stability. But a roving one expects to leave, so they take what they can while they can. And history is full of variations on this very theme. Aging autocrats draining state coffers as health fails, lame duck governments rushing privatizations, regimes facing imminent loss, trading sovereignty for short-term security. The pattern repeats because the logic isn't ideological, it's mathematical. And if you look at it through that lens, Venezuela stops looking like a foreign policy gamble and starts looking like a balance sheet maneuver. The first move in that maneuver is shock. A dramatic action collapses debate, dominates headlines, and creates an emergency frame. In those moments, complexity dies. The public is forced to choose sides before it understands the terrain. Legal arguments trail optics. Urgency becomes the substitute for justification. But the goal isn't chaos, because chaos is bad for contracts. What follows shock is continuity without transformation. The administrative machinery of the Venezuelan state remains intact. There is no serious push for democratic rebuilding, constitutional reform, or institutional renewal. That absence is not an oversight, it's the design, because reform introduces uncertainty. Elections threaten deals, and transparency complicates extraction. Stability, even brittle, morally compromised stability, is far more valuable than democracy if the objective is to lock in outcomes quickly. This is why continuity leadership matters. Someone still has to sign the paperwork. And the legal system enters the picture, but not as a truth-finding institution, because law here is being used as an optics engine. Charging Maduro is not primarily about prosecution. It's about retroactive justification. If the administration did not charge him, the maritime strikes become much harder to defend. They start to look like uses of force against a sovereign state without a declared war, without clear eminence, and without consent. And that opens the door to allegations of international law violations, questions of proportionality, jurisdiction, and civilian risk. Silence in this context isn't neutral. Silence implies weakness in the justification. So charging him closes that door rhetorically. Once charges exist, officials can endlessly point to them. They can say, we acted against a criminal enterprise, that these were not civilian vessels, that he was charged with narco trafficking. The evidentiary strength of those claims becomes secondary. The existence of charges alone reframes the debate. It muddies the water enough to dull the scrutiny. A trial, however, would be dangerous. Trials require discovery. Discovery requires evidence, and evidence gets cross-examined, challenged, and potentially contradicted. A courtroom is the one place where narrative collapses under pressure. This is why a plea arrangement that is fast, narrow, and tightly controlled is the optimal outcome for them. A plea produces an admission without discovery. It allows the government to put something on the record linking criminal activity to maritime operations without ever testing the claim. The admission does not have to be comprehensive. It does not have to withstand adversarial scrutiny. It simply has to exist. A pardon then wipes punishment while preserving that narrative. The talking point remains. The admission remains. Judicial exposure disappears, and critics will say that the pardon proves the case was weak. Supporters will say mercy followed accountability. Meanwhile, the administration gets exactly what it needed: retroactive legitimacy for the strikes without a court ever examining the facts. This is procedural containment. Law used as insulation rather than adjudication.
Baby, listen to me.
And all of this aligns very cleanly with terminal discounting. Litigation takes years. International inquiries move slowly. Congressional investigations stall, restart, and lose momentum. Even if accountability eventually arrives, it is likely to arrive long after the political actors who made the decisions are gone, retired, or irrelevant. So when leaders believe that this is true, they behave accordingly. International backlash in this framework is irrelevant. The administration has already demonstrated that allied trust and multilateral approval are not meaningful constraints. Those costs are already priced in. Outrage carries no marginal penalty with its base. If legitimacy is already depleted, there is no reason to protect it. What matters instead is controlling the narrative long enough for deals to be signed. And this is where private equity becomes central to this. The most consequential planning does not need to happen inside of government. In fact, it is safer if it doesn't. Government records are archived, subpoenaed, and fought over in courts. Private capital's internal communications are not. Investment committee memos, election scenario planning, regulatory arbitrage analysis, deal sequencing, all of it lives outside NARA, outside FOIA, and largely outside public oversight. The state opens the window, capital exploits it. And oil plays a role here, but not as the long-term prize. Low prices suppress drilling incentives. Production can be maintained in harvest mode without major capital investment. Oil provides liquidity and near-term cash flow. It keeps systems functional and it buys time. The real leverage lives downstream. This is where the sit-go situation becomes critical because downstream assets like refineries, terminals, storage, distribution, those are all choke points. They determine routing, pricing, and margin regardless of who owns the upstream resource. Control the outlet and you control the flow. A downstream acquisition allows private capital to hedge against domestic re-regulation without drilling a single new well. It converts geopolitical chaos into durable balance sheet position. It's cleaner, it's safer, and it's far more resilient than upstream conquest. And then there are the minerals, and this is the longest play of all of it. Private equity does not need immediate rare earth extraction to control future rare earth supply. The asset is not the mineral. The asset is the option. Exploration rights, exclusive offtakes, processing capacity, export certification, priority supply clauses. These determine availability years down the line. And the United States and its industries will still need these inputs regardless of who holds office. Defense systems, advanced electronics, energy infrastructure. Demand here is policy inelastic. Substitution's limited. Reshoring will take decades. If private capital controls the constraints, it controls leverage over future administrations, quietly, indirectly, and permanently. That's why the minerals play matters more than oil in the long run. Oil pays the bills, but minerals shape the future. And this is not unfalsifiable. There are things to watch for. If this is truly the exit positioning, you will see infrastructure deals before drilling. You will see long-term dated concessions with arbitration clauses outside of Venezuela. You will see offtake agreements signed before production increases. You'll see exploration rights emphasized over extraction. You will see formalization of illegal mining framed as cleanup while control consolidates. You'll see downstream assets tied to Venezuelan supply. You will see narrative repetition without evidentiary escalation. And if political control changes in Washington, you will see how difficult and slow it is to unwind that clock. When accountability eventually comes, it will be diffuse and symbolic. Complex systems protect everyone except the figure at the top. Blame funnels upward. Years later, one name absorbs the weight while the rest dissolve into process, classification, and institutional fog. And by then, the deals are old, the assets are entrenched, and the leverage is baked in. And this is not cynicism, it's just pattern recognition. So yes, Maduro is gone. That is not the issue. Power did not leave with him. It just relocated. What is being built in his absence is not democracy, not reconstruction, not sovereignty restored. It is a set of constraints designed to survive electoral change and limit future choice. And that's why this moment deserves the scrutiny. The danger is not that a dictator fell. The danger is that in that process, legitimacy was replaced with optics, law was replaced with narrative, and the future was quietly contracted away. Not to voters, not to institutions, but to structures designed to endure without accountability. That is what exit positioning looks like when a government believes the end is already written. Not a plan to govern, just a plan to endure. Defiance till death. Removing a dictator is not what anyone is upset.
And there we go, right? You can kick rocks if you don't like the way I talk. So we're going to wrap it up here. Pull up a couple of things here real quick before we roll out. All right. Let's see here.
Have if you're on the Telegram chat, we're going to do the drawing in the morning.
Yeah.
I believe so. I gotta get with boots on the ground to confirm that, but tomorrow morning, right? So get on there. You still have a chance to get a ticket. The link is did you have the link in there? Tickets. It's in the Telegram chat. They're $10 each. And we also have the fundraiser for Mickey Moo Moo. Get back home. Links are also in Telegram, and he's going to post it on Rumble as well. So if you can contribute in any way, we would appreciate it so we can get her home. And appreciate each and every one of y'all.
All right.
So, folks ain't mad at you. They mad because you can't be fooled. They mad because you don't bite the bait. Yeah. They mad because you don't jump when they twitch. They mad because the bullshit don't work on you no more. And whew, that burns people alive. See, they out here playing checkers, dominoes, spades, hopscotch, and manipulation bingo. And your ass ain't even at the damn table and don't care to be. You're not playing the game. You're not auditioning for approval. You're not explaining shit. And that is what got them twisted, baby. They wanted access. They wanted control. They wanted to push buttons they've been trying to push for years, but you ripped the damn panel out the wall. Now they mad because you don't respond how they rehearsed. You don't react how they predicted. You don't submit how they expected. And let me tell you something my grandma told me. People get real hostile when manipulation don't work. They call you cold. They call you change. They call you difficult. No, baby, you just woke the hell up.
Yeah, no.
And now admission is closed, locked, barred, and guarded by discernment and a zero tolerance policy. You didn't get mean, you got clear, you didn't lose your heart, you just stopped handing it to trifling ass people with dirty intentions. You won't let them in your world, you won't let them sit on your couch, eat your food, fuck with your peace, and critique your soul. Let grandma say this, baby, listen to me real slow. Folks ain't mad at you, they mad.
Yeah. I had to get my other mouse here.
Here's some words of wisdom.
A little words of wisdom from little grandma.
I thought that was Lena.
It just sounded like her.
Yeah.
Yep, it sounded like her.
Right.
They said, slow down, boy.
All right, so we're going to close out here tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for the subscriptions, the clicking like, the sharing. Don't share this content with everybody because it's not for everybody. All right. So I want to thank everybody for being here with us tonight. I want to send prayers to everybody. Also to my mom. She's not feeling too well. Prayers for my mom. Prayers for that we all come together and get this taken care of. So it's a beautiful time to be alive. Keep the faith and the peace.
Yeah, have a fun night, everybody.
Good night, Hunter. Feel better. Good night, Ghost.
Yes, good night.
Good night, Hunter. Good night, Glendia.
Y'all feel better. Prayers for y'all. We love y'all.
Been beat down, but I don't stay low. Got mud on my jeans, still ready to go. Every scar's a story that I survived. I've been through hell, but I'm still alive. They said, slow down, boy, don't go too fast. But I ain't never been one to live in the past. I keep moving forward, never looking back, with a worn out hat and a 6-string strap. You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Ain't changing my tone, ain't changing my song. I was born this way, been loud too long. You can hate my style, you can roll your eyes, but I ain't slowing down, I was born to rise. So kick them rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. I've lost some friends, made a few new foes, but that's just life, that's how it goes. I ain't bending over just to please a crowd. If I fall down, I'll fall down proud. I talk my truth, I live my way. Ain't nobody gonna take my say. This road's been rough, but I learned the trade. It's sweat, soul, and dues I paid. You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Ain't changing my tone, ain't changing my song. I was born this way, been loud too long. You can hate my style, you can roll your eyes, but I ain't slowing down, I was born to rise. So kick them rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Let the haters talk, let the rumors fly. I ain't got time to wonder why. The good Lord knows the man I am, and I'll die standing tall with a mic in my hand. You can kick rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. Ain't selling my soul for a seat at your table. I'm rough, I'm raw, I'm wild, I'm able. You can hate my fire, but you can't kill my spark. I'm a midnight flame burning through the dark. So kick them rocks if you don't like how I talk. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk. You can kick rocks. You can kick rocks. You can kick rocks. I'm gonna keep on talking and walk my walk.